So today I have a really beautiful watch to show you guys. This is BreMoir. This is called the Lexington, and it takes a lot of inspiration from Art Deco architecture, specifically in New York City, in Manhattan, where I am from. It's called the Lexington because it is named after Lexington Avenue. It takes a lot of inspiration from the Chrysler Building, from the Empire State Building. These are very Art Deco buildings. You're going to see a lot of that design DNA in this watch. And obviously the packaging is really nice as well. You can see it's sort of laser cut leather. It says BreMoir on here. That's in a metallic sort of lettering. It has a zipper enclosure. Inside you get another folder. In here is just a little pamphlet on operation of the watch, and then another little pamphlet on the inspiration. So there you go. The Chrysler Building, as you can see right there. Pretty cool. This is just a little leather folder and has this gold pattern on here. Really beautiful. I don't know what you would actually use this for after. However, here you have the watch and it sits in a little packaging here, a little sort of cutout, and it says, time is precious, make yours count. Time worth remembering right there, name of the brand. Really nice packaging, very well done. You can see a lot of attention to detail in this packaging, and that obviously carries over into the watch. You're going to notice immediately when you see this watch two things right off the bat. It's that dial. You have sort of a bi-colored dial. You have that salmon sort of copper portion, and you have a blue area. That's that chapter ring. The chapter ring, I believe there is loom on, and then you have that little portion that is a ring of basically copper or salmon, whatever you want to call it. Then there is an inner disc. That inner disc is blue, same color as that chapter ring, same color as the strap. That salmon portion matches the strap stitching, so they've obviously paid a lot of attention here. The indices themselves are applied. They're sort of applied to that portion that is the copper portion. Then you have stick indices also. So at the 12, 3, 6, and 9, you have actual numerals. Everything else is a stick indice. On the top of the stick indice is just a little arrow, sort of inspired by Art Deco architecture as well. You can see a lot of that in the dial as well. And the second thing that you're going to really notice is the stepped bezel. The stepped bezel, very reminiscent of those buildings that I mentioned, this Chrysler Building. If you look at the Chrysler Building, they sort of have that stepped roof on the top of the building. This is sort of reminiscent of that. You see a lot of this in the Empire State Building as well. Really beautiful architecture, really beautiful design cues in this watch. I really like what they've done. The bezel is stepped. You have 3 steps in it and is basically all polished. The case is brushed and polished. You have a thick line of polishing that goes along the case. Sort of gets wider as you go closer to the lug ends. And then you have a thin line that goes along the back of the case. And then it's sort of faceted at the lug ends. It looks really good. I'll do a close-up picture of that as well. I really like the design of this watch. The case back, you can see through. You have a custom rotor. That is an STP 111, if you guys are not familiar with that. Owned by the Fossil Group. It is a Swiss-made watch, 26 jewels, so it has, I think, one more jewel than the 2824 from Etta. It's a clone of that movement, so it is a very good movement. Pretty reliable. Some people don't like them, some people do. I do like them. This one's sort of a elaborate version, I would guess I would call it. It's decorated, and you have that custom rotor, which is, again, bi-colored, so it's blue and sort of a copper color. Looks excellent. You have a screwed-in case back that is polished, gives you the spec sheet. A quick release on the strap. The strap is signed by the brand. It is a suede strap, as I mentioned. It matches the color of the dial. The stitching matches that salmon portion, and then you have that blue suede that matches the dial itself. Really well done. It just says BreMoir, and then it says Lexington, the name of the watch, and it says self-winding instead of automatic. Kind of classy, nice little classy touch. I like that. Crown is pointed. As you can see, it's not the widest crown, but it is pretty easy to operate. And I'll just show you guys. There is no ghost date position because this is a dateless watch, which I like, obviously. I always say that. And it operates really well. It is on the smaller side. I would like to see a little bit bigger of a crown, but it's livable, not too bad. You can get a little line of polish, by the way, in between the lugs, which is kind of nice. And then the buckle. The buckle is actually signed on the bottom, as you can see right there. On the top, it sort of mimics the bezel. You get that stepped look to the buckle. It is a bespoke buckle. It's all polished. Really beautiful buckle on here that goes with the case really well. Something not off the shelf. So they did something a little bit special with that. Looks really good. Let's do quick measurements and I'm going to throw it on my wrist. We're actually going to do a loom shot because this does get loom. Even though this is sort of a dress watch, it gets only 50 meters of water resistance. 39 millimeters spot on at the case. The lug to lug is a true lug to lug. You have sort of cut off lugs on here. 48.6 millimeters. The crown is around 6.7 millimeters. Yep, 6.7 millimeters. Again, it's not a small crown. It's just not a very wide crown. So to actually to grip it is pretty easy. I just like the look of a larger crown. Thickness is on the thicker side for a watch that is only 50 meters of water resistance and a dress watch, but it's not thick at all. 10.7 millimeters. I guess to get this look of the case, you need to make it a little bit thicker. Totally understand that. And it does wear larger on your wrist because of that. So I'm going to show it to you. It's sort of slab-sided, so you can see there's not a huge amount of curvature to the case, but there is a little bit. The case is very nicely finished. Just a beautiful, beautiful setup on this watch. Really thought out and very well done. I met the owner of them, of this brand, at a Red Bar event. His name is Patrick. Really nice guy. Really loves watches. And I think he did a very good job with this watch. Very quickly, the watch that I have on my wrist is another watch that's actually powered by the STP 111. This is a new brand. Has not been reviewed yet on YouTube, I believe. It's called Helsley. And it's just a really interesting little watch with a cream dial. They make a few different colors. Really nice. I think it's around 40 millimeters as well. Beautiful strap on it as well. They did a really good job. It's made in, I think they're assembled in Switzerland or Swiss made, however, designed in New York City. So pretty cool brand right there as well. So we'll be doing a review of that and unboxing of that very soon. So here is the Lexington on my 7.5 inch wrist. You can see that it does wear bigger than the said dimensions. I would say it wears like a 40 millimeter. The lug to lug is perfectly fine on my wrist, 48 millimeters. I think it will wear larger on a smaller wrist. So definitely if you have a very small wrist, just keep that in mind. It still will wear well on your wrist, but it probably will wear large. Now, price on this, I think a lot of people are going to go back and forth on because a lot of people, sometimes get hung up on the movement, and I am one of those people as well. But this is, I think, $985. It's on the more expensive side, but considering the amount of detail and work that goes into the case and the dial on this watch, and then you're getting the custom rotor, the STP 111, and the packaging, I think it's actually a pretty good price, in my opinion. Especially considering that you're not going to really see another watch with a dial like this and a case like this at this price. It's really not that easy to come by. This is not really, for a first release from a watch brand, this is not really got a lot of problems with it that I can see. I think it's really nicely made. I think they assemble them in Hong Kong, and the watch itself, obviously all the components are either sourced from China or Switzerland, specifically the movement. But overall, I think it's a really nicely made watch with a distinctive look, and that's kind of why I like it. Again, it is an STP 111. Some people will sort of balk at that and say it's too expensive, and I totally understand what you're saying. But look at the whole package. I think it's definitely in the ballpark of where this watch should be priced. Very quickly, let's do a loom shot and then we'll wrap up the video. I have not checked out the loom, so I have no idea if this has good loom. Let's check it out. Well, there you have it. The loom isn't so great. The loom on the perimeter of the dial on that sort of chapter ring area, I guess you can call it, on the minute track, it does have that Art Deco style. However, it isn't very bright. It's printed on and it's fading pretty quickly. The hands are pretty good. They're decently applied, but not liberally applied. I would have liked to see more loom on this watch, especially considering the $985 price tag. Loom is expensive, so obviously if you are doing all of this other work on this watch to make it so nice, and you're going to add loom, go all the way, I think a little bit of loom would have helped on this watch. Besides that, the $985 price tag, I think is justified considering all of the bespoke sort of components that you're getting in this watch. I'm not supported by them. They have not given me this watch. I'm not getting anything from BreMoir to do this review. I genuinely think this is a good looking watch, and I think it's very well executed, excuse me. And that's really it. So I would like to see more loom. I wish it was a little bit more thin so it would wear better on more wrists, but that's my only two gripes with this watch. Other than that, an excellent watch, and it's really a beautiful watch. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. Please also don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel. I very much appreciate it. I have some links in the description. Those links are to Amazon. If you click those links and buy anything, it helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. However, I very much appreciate it. Also, follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog, all one word. That's really it. Thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.